I know we lit outside, but we wanted to bring back, after last year we weren't able to be together. I remember when these tables were filled with hundreds of Chanukiot. It is our tradition to light the shamash first. And who can tell me what shamash means? It does, a helper candle. And we always light the shamash. You can notice the shamash will always be set differently. And then the candles are put in from the right to the left, from right to left. And we always light the night that is actually, that we're observing today. And so here we go together. Page 1 of our booklet, and we are lighting. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lehodlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisem lavoteinu ve'imoteinu bayomim ha'am ba'azman hazeh. And I know it's not traditional, but because I'm with you for the first time tonight, and more than that, because we have really been through a really tough 2 years of COVID, because we sustained a horrific week for us as a nation with the losses in the Michigan Oxford school. Let's say together the Shehechianu, thanking the source who gave life, who sustains life, and who has enabled us as a community to reach this moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu vehigimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh. Page 2 of your package. We're going to sing all night, but we're going to stay with Mi Yimalel now, and at the end of the song, we'll work our way to the very front of the pews, of the chairs. Please sit as a pod and try to keep 6 feet between you and the person in your row. Please try to start in the middle and move out and get up as close as you can. You'll notice that every other aisle is blocked off so that we have distance and we can keep each other safe. Yimalel uvrot Yisrael otamine Yimalel and bechol dor yakum hagibor ha'el ha'oel ha'yimalel Shabbatim hahem ubazman hazeh Maccabim Moshiach uvodeh L'olam Yisrael Yitached Yahakum v'Himalel Yimalel Guvrot Yisrael Otani Join me, you guys, toward the front. Come on all the way up to the front. The really expensive seats are still available up in the front, and I'll give them to you for a great price. As Alexandra and I say these words, I have to tell you, we mean them with all of our hearts. What a gift it is to start to see the chairs of this Beit Knesset fill up. We are keeping the whole sanctuary open for Friday night and Saturday morning services so that everyone can come and be safe each and every week. Hinei matov Uma Naim. Imagine that we can let the week be in the past, that we can show up fully at this moment with our hearts opened and exposed and able to settle into a sense of joy, a sense of intimacy, a sense of Shabbat. 120. Help me to perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice, love, kindness, and peace.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
138, paragraphs 1 and 2, and then moving to 139, paragraphs 5 and 9. As we sing, I will be leading a dance. I'm going to welcome you to dance with me. For those who are dancing in their seats, when we reach the 9th and final paragraph, it is traditional to stand and face the entrance to the sanctuary. In doing that, we recognize that we are committed as a congregation to welcome all who choose to be in our midst, making them our priority with open doors and open hearts.
Lechadoti likrat kala yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat lekabela Lechadoti likrat kala yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat lekabela Shamor Yisachor Dibor Echad Anu El
Chanukah uvetzohala toch emunei am segula boikala lechadoti yalalai yalalai kanei Shabbat Kabbalat left hand back. Die. I'm gonna go in the front. Face the middle. Pull it back. From the top. Face the middle. Back to your seat. Last time. Like this? Yeah, la. Perfect. Woo! Be gone with you, COVID. We're bringing back our dancing. Oh. If you weren't feeling the Sabbath before, hopefully you'll be feeling it now. 152. It is our tradition for those who are able and comfortable to stand together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. 155, we pray together. Love your Shekhinah with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the works of your hands.
Let them keep in the
Forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gates. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for the source. I am Adonai, your source. I led you out of Egypt to become HaShekhinah. I am Adonai, your source. Adonai Elohechem. Emet. 164. As we hold this space of Amidah. For anyone who has the need for the traditional words, they are on 164 through page 180. For all of us holding a place of prayer, I invite you to turn with me to page 653, pausing from the busyness of the world, of the week, of the worries, and allowing ourselves, welcoming ourselves to be in a place of sacredness, of community, and of Shabbat. From the Amidah, we hold those members of our community who are dealing with challenges of body and of soul. At the top of the list, I ask that our prayers go out to those individuals who were wounded in Michigan. I ask that the families of the victims also find places that are holding them as they walk through the darkness, and we pray to places of comfort and healing. At this time, I ask that our prayers go out to Arnie Zappel, Yisrael Aga, David Anderson, Amanda Batista, Susan Bosch, Susan Becker, Jenny Bryant, Tom Burrows, Amelia Byers, Audrey Cohn, Jay Cohn, Joe Cohn, Robert Cohn, Robert Cook, Adele Corvin, Tyler Corvin, Louis Costella, Yehuda Ben Leah, V'chaim, Bob Davis, Phyllis Fillmore, Ellen Futterman, John Gaudier, Joy Gross, Ron Hall, Darren Jacobs, Judy Jacobs, Lee Kalish, Les Kalmus, Seth Kerr, Susan Klamberg, Andrea Klein, Mary Jane Klein, Lou Klein, Buddy Krakowski, Jeff Levine, Jack Levy, Jeff Lukash, Stacy Lynn, Steve Linworth, Lana Ogram, Moshe Yosef, Joe Michaels, Stephanie Payusko, Rick Peruso, Carla Friedman, Eli Idovitz, Rivka Bat Esther Ephraim, Tony Rosenstein, Robin Stone, Elaine Trott, Ellen Vogeloff, George Wells, Ben Wilder, Phyllis Wofield, Jeffrey Zelkovitz, Gretchen Zimmerman. I ask for continued healing for Sandy Albelli, Talda Belli, Tommy Anderson, Bonnie Amancho, Jan Bennett, Pat Brackman, Joe Calley, Michael Corvin, Steve Fine, Cheryl Fitzsimmons, Barbara Gallagher, Francine Glasser, Mark Greenberg, Marcia Hamburg, Valerie Henderson, George Jones, Danny Joseph, Anita Cantor, Heather Kite, Jill Levy, Corley, Charlie Lippman, Nomi Laurie, David Mallon, Joan Moore, Ann Murkoff, Catherine Nicholson, Nevaeh Newsy, Orly Batzvia Vachaya, Steve Perlmutter, Antoinette Phelan, Lillian Rich Schuster, Dave Rosenthal, Evie Rosenthal, Kyle Rothgeb, Barbara Salberg, Henry Sanderson, Shirley Schneider, Deborah Sears, Phil Searles, Sloan Shortley, Michelle Simon, Charles Slutsky, Mark Trott, Sandy Weiner, Karen Wilder, Luca Williams, the Livingston House staff and residents. If you have names of your own loved ones, members of our community that you would like to share, please call them out when my eyes meet yours.
Lori Hunt. Earl Saunders.
My brother Michael Hirsch.
Greeters, we have somebody by the door. Thank you. Only one person needs to go. Thank you. Thank you.
Michelle Kleber.
Thank you. Holding all of them in our hearts, page 371.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say
So there are weeks that Alexandra and I lead from podiums and lead a full service. In fact, that's most of the time. Just to let you know that tomorrow morning our minyan begins at 10 a.m. While we always have live streaming available so that you can watch from wherever you are, we also encourage people who are vaccinated and children of all ages to be here with us with masks and socially distanced. Sunday religious school, our learning adventure begins at 9:30 a.m. Throughout the week, all of my classes are available for those who are regulars, and for those who would like to join, please check our website and be sure to join with us. Our annual congregational meeting will be held on Zoom at 1 p.m. on Saturday, December 11th. Please, congregants, it's important for you to be there, to hear about all of the wonderful things that are going on in our community, but more, so that you can know where your congregation is and how you can be part of what's going on. Our congregation, CEHV, is very involved with the Blue Fridge, supporting this food access and security initiative. Please look on the website or grab one of the paper bags on your way out so that we, every one of us in our congregation, can do our part regularly to sustain our neighbors who are food insecure, to make sure that we all have what we need to be comfortable. I know our community is always looking for other ways to reach out. It came to our attention in one of my classes from one of our wonderful congregants that New Paltz has had the privilege of settling an Iranian family If you would like to be part of helping to make this happen, I would urge you to go to www.newpulse4refugees.org. We are going to be looking in the days and the weeks they're in temporary housing, but as they get to permanent housing, to find out how we as a community can be more responsive to this family. But begin by reading their story for anyone who is able to help them settle financially, and then all of us together will do our part to be good neighbors and to do our part to welcome them into the Hudson Valley. Tonight, we did a very short ma'amad, a very short Kabbalat Shabbat service to make sure that we're holding that space for all of us, but that we also have time to celebrate. Before we move into our celebration, I am going to just ask that parents, any of the children who would like to come into the front during the storytelling, please feel free to, and you stay close by so that you can help them to be safe and to be mindful of the social distancing. I am available to be here for each of you. If I don't know you, please make sure you get to know me and I get to know you. And I'm going to ask before Kaddish that we all just turn in our seats and welcome someone who didn't come in with us. Introduce yourself and say hello so that we have the opportunity to begin to get to know one another. So I don't want you to have too much fun yet, but you can right after the stories. I'm glad that you got to greet one another. Before we move into our Hanukkah celebration, it's impossible for us to get to times of joy. Hanukkah, Simchatenu, Chag Simchatenu, without thinking of our loved ones. For some of us who death has recently taken, we are with the Rothblatt and Fleischer families on the recent loss of Leslie Rothblatt. We are with Dave and Evie Rosenthal on the loss of Dave's brother, David Lieberman. We are with Beth Bainbridge and Corey Blant on the loss of their daughter, Evan Pearl Bainbridge Blant. We are with Fred and Joan Corderer on the loss of Ellie Corderer. We are with the Kirshner family on the loss of Amy Kirshner. For those who are in their shloshim, we are with you. For those on the full list who are in their shana, as I hold each of their names, know that we are with you, weaving together those recent losses with members of the community who are observing yard site for their loved ones. As I say your loved one's name, please feel free to stand. Jean Black, Kenneth Brown, Louis Cohen, Carrie Ehrensall, Rachel Katz, Joseph Lober, remembered by Bonnie Lober, Bonnie's father, Hindia Luxberg, Ellie Marine, Philly Mottler, Esther Murkoff, Ann Murkoff's mother-in-law, David Newland, Hattie Rosenstein, Deb Kalish's mother, Norman Sarinsky, Helen Sarinsky's husband, Robert Shapiro, Russell Shapiro's father, Yetta Weinstein, Rabbi David Wolf, Zichronam Livracha. It is our tradition to stand as a community with those who are observing Kaddish, observing their Shana or their yard site, recognizing that when we stand shoulder to shoulder with them, we stand for the victims, the martyrs of our own people. We stand for the people of every race and nation who live their lives as a blessing to humanity, as we affirm what is sacred. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ulalmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal. Shmei kudusha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushvechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol b'nei Adam. Ve'imru. Amen. Please be seated. I ask you to turn with me to page 4 of your Hanukkah songbook. Page 4. Peter Yarrow wrote this prayer, light one candle.
Light
One
one
candle
candle
for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured. Their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice.
justice and freedom.
So you had an opportunity to greet one another, and I would like to introduce you to your storytellers this evening. For those who I really haven't had a chance to meet, I'll just say again, I'm Rabbi Yael. I have the privilege of being the rabbi of this wonderful community. And I always look forward to Purim and to Hanukkah when I get to storytell together with other amazing members of our community. Alexandra Schleuder is our cantorial soloist, and she is also the heartthrob of our congregation. In case you don't know this, it's good to know that she actually grew up in this congregation, became B mitzvah in this congregation, had the audacity to go out into the world and get a job and get a master's and perform in opera. And we have had, she couldn't resist our offer to come home and to lead the cantorial work here at Congregation Emmanuel. So we're thrilled that Alexandra is taking her part as one of our actors in this storytelling. We have the amazing Jonathan Billig, who is our director of our learning adventure in our, where is our Jonathan? Jonathan has become really such an important member of our leadership team as he is guiding the young people. For some of the young people who are in our program, you know Haminahel Yonatan. Not all the adults have had the privilege of knowing him. And Jonathan, come on up onto the bima with us. I would like to invite one of our teachers, More Grunblatt, who has shaped young people in our congregation for years. More Grunblatt taught my own children, and for those who are in his class now, you know it doesn't get better than Mark Grunblatt. He is an immigration lawyer here in Kingston and a past board member of the synagogue, and we're thrilled that he's here. And our incredible Virginia Perrin. Ginny, where are you? Ginny is one of the most talented members of the Zemer. She is also a great Torah reader, and she was for a very long time the chair of our Committee on Spiritual Practice, and she is always front and center whenever we are lifting something up, one of our amazing leaders. So tonight we are going to tell you two stories with some singing in between. And the first story is a story about a Chanukiot. It's called The Menorahs with Defects. The Menorahs of Defects. Once upon a time, long ago in a faraway place, there was a young woman who left her home and traveled for several years. She traveled far and wide, studying and learning, touching the lives of others. And apropos to our own Alexandra, when she returned home, she proudly told her parents that she had become a master of making oil lamps.
Ima, Abba, call all of the community together, everyone who practices this craft of creating Chanukah menorahs, so that I might demonstrate my incredible skill for them.
Let it be known, known throughout the land, near and far, that we will be holding an oil lamp conference for all who craft Chanukah menorahs.
But,
all are welcome to our home, those from our community and those who are traveling from out of town.
But when their daughter presented the Chanukiot that she had made, No one, not one person, it sounds like Congregation Emmanuel, no one found them pleasing in their sight. They were all silent, turning away, their noses up in the air, refusing to speak to the brilliant, young, and talented Chanukah maker.
Please, fine sir, note the handiwork of this creative menorah. It is so traditional that the shamash can be separated to light each candle in its own moment.
Can you believe it? She claims that that's traditional and creative. I have one description for, sorry, but boring, old, not innovative. Why can't a menorah be innovative and creative and new?
Please, my friends, my dear friends, my community, my congregation, are you not excited by the ingenuity of this Chanukah? It will inspire the young, invigorate the old, the animal lovers, and the non-traditional Jews who are eager for a way to connect.
That is connected to being unacceptable. Why can't the menorah be traditional in the way it once was, a menorah designed to excite children? That is a blue dog. That is not a menorah. Children should be seen and not heard anyway, and there is certainly no place in our synagogue for animals. I say do it the traditional way, or don't do it at all.
Please, fine sir, won't you give my wonderful daughter feedback on the traditional Chanukah with a nifty shamash that can be removed that she worked so hard to create?
Please, my friend, won't you give my daughter feedback on the sweetly themed doggy Hanukkah that she worked so hard to create?
Sorry, but it still has the 8 things in a row, and it's still for wax candles. The feedback is tradition is kind of just used up. But do I need to tell this to the young women? I don't love it.
But tell me how you really feel.
Well, I feel that times change too quickly. I feel lost with innovation. I can't be a part of this. I can't be a part of this.
Oh.
We're sorry to tell you.
Each and every one of the guests have found fault with each of your Hanukkah menorahs.
The young man says there's no place for old and traditional.
And the old Altakaka feels there's no place for youth or innovation.
It seems that each of the craftspeople had noted a different defect, but none of them remarked on the same defect. In fact, what one found to be a defect, the other thought was the most beautiful aspect of the work.
By this, I have shown my great skill, for I have revealed to each their own defect, since each of these defects are actually in the one who perceived it. It was these defects that I chose to incorporate into my creation. I made each menorah entirely of defects. Now I will begin the journey to tikkun, to repair.
Ocho Candelitas, page 7 of your packet. They're coming back. They're coming back for your next story.
Chanukah linda, stara ki. Ocho candelas para mí. Oh, candelitas, candelitas, tres candelitas, cuatro candelitas, siete candelitas, cien candelitas, siete candelitas, ocho candelas para mí. Muchas velitas perfumer, con alegrías y placer. Muchas velitas perfumer, con alegrías y placer.
Ocho
Candelicas, tres candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, siete candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelicas
Para mí. Os pastelicos vou comer, con almendricas y la miel. Os pastelicos vou comer, con almendricas y la miel. Oh, candelicas,
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 tres candelicas,
cuatro candelicas, siete candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. The Zemmer practiced that this week, you may have noticed.
Page 5, we love the Zemer. Page 5, Chanukah. Right?
Chanukah, Chanukah, great miracles bring us here. Chanukah, may peace, love, and blessing we celebrate the beauty of our people's here.
Narrators.
At Chanukah, the time the road from the village to town is usually covered with snow, but this year, winter had been a mild one. Chanukah had almost come, yet little snow had fallen, like this year. It had been a terrible year for the farmers. Their crops had not grown. Their animals were hungry.
It has been a terrible year. My crops have failed. My animals are hungry. I have no money.
As much as he didn't want to, the farmer knew that he had to sell his old goat, Zlata. She gave little milk, and Favel, the town butcher, had offered 8 gulden for her.
Such a sum would buy Hanukkah candles, potatoes, oil for pancakes, gifts for children, and other holiday necessities for our home.
Farmer Reuven called his eldest son, Aaron.
Aaron! Aaron! Aaron!
Papa, can you hear
Come
me?
here.
What?
You must take Zlata the goat to Favel.
Aaron understood what taking Zlata to Favel meant, and he was sad, but he knew he must obey his father. Aaron tied a rope around Zlata's neck. Aaron's mother and sisters cried loudly when they heard the news. Aaron was supposed to deliver Zlata to Favel by sundown, spend the night at the butcher's, and returned the next day with the money. While the family said goodbye to the goat and Aaron placed the rope around her neck, Zlata stood as patiently and as good-naturedly as ever. She licked Reuven's hand. She trusted human beings. She knew that they always fed her and they never did her any harm.
When Aaron brought her out on the road to town, she seemed somewhat astonished. She'd never been led in that direction before. She looked back at him questioningly, as if to say, "Where are you taking me?" But she trusted Aaron, so she went along with him. Still, the road was different. They passed new fields, pastures, and huts with thatched roofs. A dog barked at them and came running after them. But Aaron protected her and shooed the dog away.
The sun was shining when Aaron left the village. Suddenly, the weather changed. A large black cloud with bluish center appeared in the east and spread itself rapidly over the sky. A cold wind blew in with it. The crows flew low, croaking. At first, it looked as if it would rain, but instead it began to hail. It was hailing as in summer. It was early in the day, but it became dark as dusk. After a while, the hail turned to snow. Oh my God.
In my 12 years of life, I've seen all kinds of weather, but never a snowstorm as intense and fierce as this. There's so much snow, it is so dense, it has shut out the light of day. I can no longer see the road. I don't really know where we are.
In fact, Aaron was not only lost, he was cold and scared. At first, Zlata didn't seem to mind the change in weather. She too was 12 years old and knew what winter meant, but when her legs sank deeper and deeper into the snow, she began to turn her head and look at Aaron in surprise. Her mild eyes seemed to ask, "Why are we out in such a storm?"
Aaron hoped that a neighbor might come along in their cart, but no one passed by. The snow grew thicker, falling to the ground in large, whirling flakes. Beneath it, Aaron's boots touched the softness of a plowed field.
We are no longer on the road. We're lost. I don't know which direction is east and which is west, which way is to the village and which way to the town.
The wind whistled, howled, whirled the snow about. A white dust rose above the ground. Zlata stopped. She could walk no longer. Stubbornly, she anchored her cleft hooves in the earth and bleated as if pleading to be taken home. Icicles hung from her brown beard, and her horns were glazed with frost.
I don't want to admit how scared I am, but I know that we need to find shelter or we're going to freeze to death. This is no ordinary storm. My hands are numb. I can't feel my toes. My nose feels like wood, and my goat's bleating sounds sound like crying. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please save me and my goat's latte.
Suddenly, Aaron made out the shape of what he thought was a hill.
What is this? Who could have piled so much snow here?
He moved towards the large hill of snow, dragging Zlata the goat behind him.
This isn't a hill at all. It's a large haystack, which the snow has blanketed.
Aaron realized immediately that they were saved. With a great effort, he dug his way through the snow. He was a village boy, and he knew what to do. He dug through the snow until he reached the hay and hollowed out a nest in the hay for himself and the goat. No matter how cold it may be outside, in the hay, snuggled together with Zlata the goat, they would be warm. Nestled in the haystack, Zlata would have as much food as she wanted.
But little boys do not eat hay. Aaron ate 3 slices of bread and some cheese that his parents had packed for him, but he realized he was still hungry.
Aaron realized that Zlata's udders were full, so he sat next to her, and as he milked Zlata, the goat, he squirted the milk directly into his mouth. They both knew that this was not the normal way, that they were accustomed to milking, but Aaron had all the milk he needed to feed his hungry belly, and Zlata was happy to be warm and to be safe and to have her fill of hay to eat.
Cuddled together in the warm nest in the hay, Zlata kept Aaron warm. He had always loved the goat, but now he felt that the goat was more than a goat. She was like a sister, a best friend. It was dark out and he was tired and still a bit scared, so he began to talk to her.
Zlata, what do you think about what has happened to us? If we hadn't found this stack of hay, we'd both be frozen stiff by now. If the snow keeps on falling like this, we may have to stay here for days. What does ma mean? You'd better speak up clearly. Well, let it be ma then. You can't speak, but I know you understand. I need you and you need me. Isn't that right?
Aaron became sleepy. He made a pillow out of some hay, leaned his head on it, and dozed off. Zlata too fell asleep.
When Aaron opened his eyes, he didn't know whether it was morning or night. The snow continued to fall and the wind wailed. Whoosh. When Aaron spoke to Zlata, she always answered with, "Ma." Zlata's language consisted of exactly one word, but it meant many things. Now she was saying, we must accept all the source gives us: heat, cold, hunger, satisfaction, light, even darkness.
For 3 days, Aaron and Zlata stayed in the haystack. Aaron had always loved Zlata, but in these days, he loved her more and more. She fed him with her milk and helped keep him warm. She comforted him with her patience. He told her many stories, and he always cocked her ears and listened. When he patted her, she licked his hand and his face. And then she said, and he knew it meant, I love you too.
On the morning of the 4th day, the snow stopped. The sun came out, and Aaron heard the ringing of sleigh bells. The haystack was not, after all, far from the road. Aaron and Zlata ran out from the haystack toward the sound of the sleigh.
Oh. Which way is the direction to town, and which to Fievel the butcher?
Well, this way.
And which way is home to the farms in the village?
Well, that would be east.
I've made a decision. I never will be able to part with Zlata.
And with that, he took Zlata's rope east and headed the direction of home.
Aaron's parents and the neighbors had been looking for Aaron for 3 or 4 days. When they saw him coming down the road, there was great joy. Aaron's sisters kissed and hugged Zlata and gave her special treats of chopped carrots and apples.
And nobody ever again thought of selling Zlata. Now that the cold weather had set in, everyone needed warm clothes made of sheep's wool. Aaron's parents were busy selling their wool once more. When Chanukah came, Aaron's parents were able to fry pancakes every evening, and Zlata got her portion too. She came inside and sat near the flickering Chanukah candles, warm and happy to be with her family.
Once in a while, Aaron would ask her,
Do you remember the 3 days we spent together?
Zlata would shake her white bearded head and come out with the single sound which expressed all of her thoughts and her love.
We are really hopeful. I had to close my mic so that you didn't hear me heavy breathing because I'm so young and able to crawl on all fours. And bump into our wonderful musician, Bob Helfant, who has been supporting us on Shabbatot and on this Chanukah. Go to your yellow insert sheet, not by might, not by power. And I'm going to ask the children to make certain to look toward me and have your hands ready when it's time to show our enthusiasm.
Not by might.
another song will rise, another song will rise, another song will I'm going to ask that you join me on page 10 of the Shiron of the songbook, page 10. Bring on the light. And this will be our final song tonight. Please make sure if you're just coming to visit that you leave your email so we can let you know things that are happening. Also, feel free to take my card if you'd like to call or get it from the website and make an appointment. For members of the community, please look toward all of the upcoming activities. And we are just thrilled that you chose to join us this evening.
And when the night begins to fall, when the world is dark and silent, then in your heart a simple song
Chag Chanukah Sameach and a Shabbat Shalom. I believe that there are sufganiyot, especially first for the young ones. They'll be outside, and then for everyone. And may it be a time of joy, a time of safety, a time of light and wholeness and healing. And please, please, please know that Alexandra and I are here each and every Friday night and each and every Saturday morning, and we will be thrilled to share that with you. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Happy Hanukkah.
A warm, warm thank